This fucking thing. I can't stand this Facebook Wirecast bullshit. Now what I gotta do is I gotta do this fucking streaming again, you cock-sucking cocksucker. Oh, for fuck's sake, why does this happen to me? This fucking software. So what I gotta do now is I gotta try doing this bullshit all over again. Here, let's go live now. Let's go live now. Will that work, you fucking bitch? Will that work? Did that work? Am I on? I gotta stop all outputs, you fucking... Quality may be reduced. Guys, I'm doing my best here. I have to admit, I really hope this is working, guys. So many technical difficulties. This program that I use, this fucking Wirecast, is a lot of trouble. Welcome to Vinyl Junkies, episode 28. VJ Goes to Hollywood. This entire VJ journey is a result of me basically saying, fuck you to anything that doesn't make me happy, and focusing on the things that do, and the things that got me through. That's to say that music got me through, and now I do it 24 hours a day. So the whole fun of this thing, and why somebody like you should watch, is where's Waldo gonna go now? Where am I gonna wind up at this point? So last month, we know already that I've visited exotic places like Detroit, Michigan for the Making Vinyl conference. So I'm a man of the world. So now I get on a plane. What do I wind up doing? I wind up going to Anaheim. Can I first tell you that this is brought to you by Vinyl Me Please, the best damn vinyl record club out there. And the record that you see in the background, Ayalu Mesfin, I will talk about because that will be the only review I'm doing today. We also love Vinyl Style, who outfit me with bags and brushes and all that good stuff because they are modern solutions for vinyl problems that you and I have every day. Stoughton, you're going to be seeing there because new sponsors. Stoughton, makers of tip-on sleeves, jackets, Jack. I'm going to tell you about my visit at Stoughton and how that worked. So they make the old style jackets. Light in the Attic has them. Vinyl Me Please has them. Run Out Groove has them. It is a symbol of quality is what it is. And Org Music, shining a new light on old-timey, awesome recordings from the CTI catalog. Now that's one of my favorites, the Sun catalog. Yeah, for real. For real. Now we got the Roulette catalog that's going to be coming. And me and Mr. Rossiter, we're putting together a little Afro-Cuban compilation coming up. You know, we're working on things in order to satiate your appetite for quality music entertainment. Org Music is behind beautiful things like this. So you should go visit Org Music now. Use VJ10 as a code. You know what happens? They give you 10%. They're good like that. I was supposed to see Andrew Rossiter at this NAMM thing. It didn't happen. I'll tell you about how I stiffed him. And if time goes by, I might actually tell you about this ongoing conversation that I've been having with Ms. Diamanda Galas now over several weeks. That's another interesting place that Vinyl Junkies has taken me, where I'm in correspondence with somebody that I've been listening to for 25 years and very genuinely admire as one of the unique voices in music. So if I got time, I'll get behind that. And I don't even have any records queued, but I know I'm supposed to pick winners. So at the end, I guess, guys, I know it's a disappointment to you, but I'm probably going to have to play some Wilf Carter for you while we pick some winners because I didn't have time to do that shit. I wasn't a big jet plane, you understand? I was off doing things. I was off wheeling and dealing for this Vinyl Junkies army that is us. Mostly made up of Las Chicas Mexicanas. Yo amo Las Chicas Mexicanas. Because they fucking rule. And you know what I liked about Cali? Mexicans everywhere. Delicious. One of the things that I wanted to do when I was there is, I'm a simple man. You know, I don't got champagne tastes. I like simple things. So what did I want to do? It's my first trip to California. Like I said, international man of mystery. Europe I went and checked out, but the United States of America is mostly new to me. So I'm thinking what we're doing over here is kind of like an Anthony Bourdain type show, where I go around and I eat the local foods, I visit the local record shops, and I come back with vinyl stories. So this would be chapter 2. If Making Vinyl Conference in Detroit was chapter 1, this would be Vinyl Diaries chapter 2. Hollywood, baby. I did make notes for myself, but all of these technical difficulties made it so that I haven't really been paying attention to the notes, and I am kind of sure that I can run through this, but if you see my head going this way and that way, just accept that that's what Gonzo Radio is, and, you know, if you don't like it, I'm not forcing you to watch this shit. Turn it off. I'm good. But I have stories. I've got stories about Lemmy, and I have stories about Motley Crue, and I have stories about drums and rock and roll, and not heroin, but marijuana. So, Vinyl Style are pretty early sponsors of what we've been doing here at Vinyl Junkies. Oh, wait a second. So that means I have to go into my NAMM carousel now. Check this, folks. You're going to like it. Just check it, okay? This is what we call professional production values here at Vinyl Junkies, because we care about you, the listener and the viewer. Thank you. So look, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I've already said this production thing isn't me. What I did is I just took a bunch of pictures and I threw them up to kind of give you an idea, you know, do kind of like a travelogue with the worst possible production values. And at some point, I'm going to touch upon all of those little pictures. It's also there. I got to admit, we all know my memory is a little wonky, right? When it comes to music, you wind up knowing all these minute little details, but when it comes to a lot of stuff, wonky. So those pictures are kind of like my cue. It'll keep me on point. Are you with me? Oh, dudes. Seriously? Who likes soul records? Who likes soul records? Who likes soul records? Go visit runoutgroovevinyl.com, okay? 2 of those records, they're not even out. I haven't seen them. I don't have them. They're going to be giving away 2 test pressings to Lou Johnson, Sweet Southern Soul, and a never-before-released compilation of Solomon Burke's Atlantic recordings from 62 to 65 called The Best of Soul, 62-65. Never been released, but the sleeve is totally faithful to the entire style of Atlantic. So we're probably going to see an Atlantic purple label and all of that neat stuff. And we know it's going to be a Stoughton jacket. It'll look good. I'm looking forward to it. As far as I know, it's in the mail. As soon as I get it, I'll obviously show it to you. But very pumped about that. If you guys want more Run Out Groove dealies, what you do is watch yesterday's episode where me and Billy, we tussled a little bit. That's the other story that I have. Me and Billy tussled yesterday. Okay, we did Vinyl Junkies versus Run Out Groove Part 2. I like Billy. He knows a lot of things. Warner Brothers, big shot. Okay, now, I told you we met in a toilet, right? We met in a toilet. We were very happy with the first video that came out. It was nice. His wife supposedly watched this video. Lovely lady, I'm sure. She has to be, right? Because what does she tell him? Dude, you're fucking interrupting him all the time. It's his show. Let him talk. You're there and you just take over the whole fucking thing. It's like the Billy show. I knew right then and there that me and Mrs. Billy Fields over there, sorry, I don't know your name. I won't call you Mrs. Fields because you know what? We have passed the point. Women are emancipated now. Women are emancipated. And gosh darn it, you don't have to take our names. You can proudly forge your own names. So you are probably not Mrs. Billy Fields because you belong to no one. And I've noticed you have a very sharp mind because you realized something. You made a little observation. Billy's an attention whore. He gets on the thing and it's fucking Hollywood Billy with that little bobblehead of his. So what happens yesterday? He figures, I'm going to try to be mindful of this thing. First of all, apologies because the sound on that video, a complete disaster. Billy sounds like, and I mean, we planned this, you know, we've done it before type of thing, but what am I supposed to do? I'm already a terrible producer from my side. I'm supposed to produce his side too. Give me a fucking break, right? You expect the guy's going to understand how this is done. He puts on this little phone. The phone was fine. The connection, the mic, it sounded like he was talking through, you know those cans with the string? Like, and you put it to your ear? He was talking through one of those things. So basically, all we have is, first of all, you have to put the volume up because it sounds like shit. Billy, you sound like shit. No production values at all. I don't understand the dichotomy that exists between those excellent sounding and looking run-out groove records which you produce and this nonsense which you fed to my audience yesterday, this slop. It is unacceptable. It sounds like shit, but it's entertaining. It's just you got to turn it up and you have to accept the fact that Billy knows how to make records, but other than that, there are things missing. It doesn't sound good. You got to listen to it. And much hilarity was had, and he interrupted me constantly. So at one point, you know, you'll just see, I just sit back and we listen to the Billy show. Now, I can't speak for you, but I speak for myself. At points of the show, I tune out a little bit. I don't blame you. I tune out too. For that matter, I don't blame you if you tune out to me. Can't be all that interesting. I get the music eventually. Always get to music. But these are the things. These are the everyday tales of a person in this vinyl junkie world that we exist. We talk to technically deficient people who run labels, major record labels, and there, ladies and gentlemen, is the problem with the record industry today. Billy, you are the problem with the record industry today. Shame. Ding, ding. Shame. Ding, ding. Pay attention, chicas. I'm pretty sure we're going to go Latin at some point or another. My wife noticed. You know what she said when I got on that plane? She says, I like it when you go down there. First of all, she gets rid of me for 4 days. I mean, God bless her, I understand. But then the second thing is, she noticed that I come back all charged and full of stories. And think about it, I visited fucking Detroit. I still came back charged with full of stories. So I get on this plane. These are the stories now. These are the stories now. I get on the plane. 13-hour miserable trip, okay? As soon as you have to get off, I had an appointment the minute it is that you're supposed to get off the plane, drive out to meet Andrew Rossiter, who's meeting me at this tiki bar type cafe, so that we can work on yet other music deals for you, like this beautiful comp that we're making. Turns out, the battery runs out. You know how it works, right? All this fucking thing, it doesn't happen. I get in. Take my car. Number one, in America, let me tell you something. Everything is not just big, it's enormous. It's fucking enormous. So I went there and I rented a normal car. I'm going to give you a little upgrade on the house, he tells me. he puts me in a house on wheels. This fucking big GM thing, and I already started hearing Chris Stapleton, and it's a rhinestone cowboy. I started hearing that right away. So I saw I couldn't get to Andrew. Too far away, too late, too slow. And I would drive home. And I had my fucking thing in, and it's like, rhinestone cowboy, driving down. And then I drive up to Evan's house, who works with Vinyl Style, and who was pleasant enough to say, hey, come down to NAMM. Okay, I'll come down to NAMM, as long as there's some business to do. So I go, and I live in a suburb in the West Island. I just, suburbs, man. Ballet lessons and fucking cube houses that all look the same. I go there. There's this gate, garbage cans all in the front. I go in, and there's a bunch of houses, a car on fucking blocks, a fire going, a garage door open. It looks like it's never been closed ever. I'm thinking I'm going to die. Secondly, I kind of really don't know how Evan looks. You know why? Because if you look at his Facebook profile, all you see is a big moon with two little dots in the middle, so I don't know what the guy looks like. And then he's got this Google profile where he's got this kind of like blonde hair kind of sticking out like this, but the picture's so blurry, I can't really see shit. So basically what I'm telling you is, in my infinite intelligence, I went there to LA blindly and agreed to stay at someone's house. I wasn't sure if he was transgender. I wasn't sure. I honestly, I didn't know. Because it could have been. And I was afraid that maybe, wake up, my pants unbuttoned. Uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable. But I went there and I was greeted by a perfectly granola-looking California dude with a ring through his nose. And everything was fine. And you go into the house, and I think you might actually see some of that video, but you go into the house and it's just art everywhere. It's like you're coming into the world's fucking coolest, weirdest art gallery. Like if you can buy every cool toy in the world and every cool piece of art and just put it under glass and treat it like somebody would treat a Rembrandt or anything like that. That was it. So it felt like I was living in a living, breathing museum, which instantly made me feel at home. Now, I go into the bag. I'm going to live into the room where all the records are. So I'm actually guest housing in this record room. Attached to the door is a Tiny Tim poster. A big old fucking Tiny Tim thing like this, right? Standing there. So I was a guest at the Tiny Tim room. Completely unbeknownst to me. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that because I believe that what we do here is, in sharing this music, we share the spirit of Tiny Tim. And when I was younger, I had curly hair like that too. So at one point, seeing me from behind, somebody thought I was Tiny Tim for real. So, and yelled out at me, "Hey, Tiny Tim!" Now I got no hair at all. So I go to NAMM. We hang out, fun time, no records played, but just got in real late. We go to NAMM on 3 hours of sleep, actually. I wind up going to Stoughton. No, NAMM comes right after Stoughton. Now, why Stoughton? I'm a big fan of Stoughton sleeves. Why would I be a big fan of a printing company? Because I never knew it was Stoughton. Okay, and maybe you guys see the word come up also when you buy sleeves, or when you buy your records. And if you buy Light in the Attic, for example, you'll know what a Stoughton sleeve is immediately. A sleeve, tip-on jacket. You see, I'm going to get to this jacket versus sleeve thing. Jack's watching this right now. He's an old man. He's probably having fucking conniptions at the fact that I'm completely desecrating this brand that has been making vinyl record jackets for over 50 years. The guy's a mummy. He still knows how to run everything in that fucking thing, right? So, 3 hours of sleep. I've never driven in LA before. 3 hours of sleep. Fight through the entire thing. Go to Stoughton. Do they show the picture? They have to show the picture. Did you see the picture sideways? Look, production values, right? I don't know how to fix any of this stuff. If you see a picture of the guy beside you, long beard, Stoughton, that's Rob. And Jack wasn't there, but the sheer amount of record sleeves that they've made, even for labels like Waxworks. Look, let's put it this way. Even if you don't know the name, you feel it and you know it, right? I knew with it, while I'm putting all of this together, while I'm putting this Vinyl Junkies thing together, I respect you guys as an audience because I think that together, everybody that watches this type of thing, we make up a very powerful viewing audience. Everybody wants, because we spend money on music. It's not like we don't. They know these are the guys that don't just fucking stream. These are the suckers that actually buy this shit and go to the con. That's the best target market ever. Secondly, I know I can speak for myself, and I guess I'm speaking for you as well, okay? But we like being sold to. I like being sold to. So if you've got something nice to offer, if you've got a record that's really cool, there's a story behind it, I'm all ears. That's what we do here. We discover music, and we just constantly share those aha goosebump moments that we feel when we drop the needle on something new, right? Stoughton's part of all of that, and I never knew, but I kept seeing it in the ads, like, you know, when people would write about stuff. So, Stoughton tip-on jackets, okay. In Detroit, I wind up meeting them. Knew that I was coming to NAMM and decided this is what it is that I wanted for my portfolio as well. Why? Because I think you guys deserve the best for your money. And when you go looking for this stuff, I don't know about you, but again, when I look at a record, it's not just about the music on it, okay? You look at the production, you look at the way it's put together. The sleeve counts, right? Because the sleeve is what you pick up and you just stare at. And if the liner notes are legible, it's part of the vinyl experience and why we plunk down the money to go buy a record rather than stream it on Spotify. Spotify is the test drive, right? The record's the real thing. So, I knew that it's a pretty easy thing for me to just kind of develop this marketing where you guys can see Stoughton and automatically know that it stands for, you know, it stands for something, and eventually you'll be able to see it just by, you know, so it's an attempt, of course, to build Stoughton as a brand and really the leaders of tip-on jackets, but it's an attempt to kind of educate you and kind of like hip you to what you're going to look at. As a matter of fact, we're going to be doing this work, you know, there's this little thing where we're going to add a little old style jacket to record sleeves so that you can spot it, right? So you're going to be seeing a lot of that, and I'm thrilled to be doing it because this is part of the Vinyl Junkies dream, man. How far was all this going to take me? How did this banker who just fucking decided I can't do it anymore and gave up everything and decided to just follow his passion blindly until it succeeded, you know, how did it happen? This is how it happens. I went there and I told him, listen, I'm coming. I'd like to have a meeting. And, you know, if you guys are up for a meeting, let's do this. Or, you know, I'm not there to work on my tan. I don't know anything about NAMM. I have no fucking clue whose house I'm staying at. Never even bothered looking at a picture. I'm going out there half-cocked. It turned out well. 3 hours sleep, I go down there, beautiful. I'm pretty sure there's a picture in there with the Stoughton sleeves, the legendary Stoughton wall. Me and Rob there just sitting side by side. His majestic beard compared to mine. Now, he's an interesting guy, and he knows a lot of music, so I might find some kind of thing that'll bring him into the programming, because I'm pretty sure you guys are going to find him an interesting cat. I don't want him to just plug. That's not what it is, but we'll see, you know. For me, the entire point of the show is, let's pull the curtain back a little. Let's show you the people who are responsible for the records that we buy and the records that we consume all the time. There's a lot of interesting cats. Billy's one of them. Watch the show yesterday, you'll see why. It became the Billy Fields show. It's not even my show anymore. Because he goes there, he takes over everything. So it's like, all right, here we go. And on top of that, that microphone, this fucking guy. Oh, but you know what was good about it? Can I tell you what was good about it? If you watch, okay, at one point I call him Bill. And you see it's almost like, you know, like when the record scratches, everything stops. He just looks, Bill. Who's Bill? Ah. There's a fucking weak spot right there. When you guys really want to get to Billy Fields, Mr. Muckety Muck over there at Warner Brothers, call him Bill. I promise, man, it's like Pavlov's dog. He just reacts immediately. Bill! Who's Bill? I'm sorry for having offended you, Billy. I'm sorry. I'll call you Billy from now on. Never making that mistake again. And then he had to laugh a little bit uncomfortably, you know, to kind of break this tension he just created in the middle of the show. This is the bullshit I got to deal with every day in order to bring you vinyl news and entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. I bleed for you. I'll get back to NAMM. What? You're going somewhere. The stories are going to get better. We haven't even gotten to Lemmy and Motley Crue yet. Shit, you know what? Lemmy and Motley Crue. Lemmy and Motley Crue. Oh, and we haven't even gotten to our Ethiopian friend, Ayalu Mesfin, who's awesome. I guess I'm going to jump around back and forth. Maybe I won't. No, I won't. But what I'm going to say is, when I get to visiting the Lemmy statue, pre-tribute, and it meant something, so, Lemmy, man. You still matter and you always will. So, 3 hours of sleep in 48 hours. Get off the plane, cranky as fuck. Don't know anything about highways. Now from there, we're going to go to NAMM. Now, I've never been to NAMM. I don't know nothing about NAMM, right? But I figure I'm going to go over there, and I'm a hustler. So let's see who we can meet in the turntable industry and what we can come up with. You say hello. They want to do business. You want to do business. They want an audience because they want to sell shit to you. Me, nothing crosses the door that I don't believe in to begin with. So if I talk about it, it's because I would like to think that I represent quality only. I won't say something's good if it's not good. So you go there, you know, the whole walk and talk thing. If you're a hustler, you've been doing it your whole life and you're going to die doing it. You hustle. You walk and you talk. So that's what I figured. But the problem is now that the primary focus, Stoughton, was done. I got no sleep at all. I'm wrecked. And I'm unleashed right into fucking Stoughton. And on top of that, Evan, who's a really cool guy, and listen to this. He tells me he looked like I get out of this beast of a car, this black fucking GMC whatever, right? And I'm trying to like be all cool, you know, as people are hanging out on their porch, fucking fires blazing out of garbage cans, and I'm trying to be, you know, not pretend that I'm terrified. Say, hey, homie, you know, try to pretend that I'm a bigger deal than I actually am, and the car helps. So I go, and Evan's a completely different guy. Very, very fucking... a very, very pleasant, artsy, granola type of guy. I didn't know what to expect. He goes, hi. And we embrace. It was very nice. It didn't feel uncomfortable at all. So all of that sexual kind of like apprehension I may have had, like who knows if I get raped in my sleep, it disappeared. And it was a bro hug. And then, what he does is he turns around, and appearing magically, is this little thing. I'm pretty sure there must have been pixie dust. Like Bjork, okay? Imagine Bjork, but blonde. And wearing really cute clothing and just really friendly. And he looks at her and he goes, "Hey, I want you to meet my wife, Sunshine." I mean, we know each other here, but you're already fucking using pet names with me? Don't you think that might be a little bit too familiar? It turns out her name is really Sunshine. You fall in love with her even more, right? It's like you fall in love with Bjork because her name is Bjork. Because anything named Bjork cannot ever not be adorable. She can wear fucking swans to the Grammys. She's Bjork. Who the fuck are you? Point taken, right? So, this magical little fairy named Sunshine flounces into my life, and I knew everything would be okay as I visit their magical castle, and it winds up being a comfort zone immediately because it's just three people with art on their mind and the same types of values jamming, and we're talking about records and their love for Skinny Puppy and my love for Lee Hazelwood and the Melvins, and lo and behold, what was fun, Melvins I guess are going to come up a lot because the Melvins, you know, live somewhere in California, all of them, and a lot of the artists that they use for their posters and that type of thing are local artists. So my guests from Vinyl Style, Evan and Sunshine, are collectors of art, and they make art. And they had a whole bunch of this stuff that looked really awfully familiar. Turns out it was all this art that was made by the same people that you see on some of the Melvin stuff. Gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. I knew I was at the same place. It's kind of like, you know, you're going to bunk in the coolest hotel ever. Not only does it have a record player, but the walls are painted all nice and there's art everywhere. And right there on your guest door is a picture of Tiny Tim. Yes, I know that I said that, but think about that. Hey, what did you do last week? I slept in the Tiny Tim suite. I slept in the Tiny Tim suite. Booyah! That is the magic of Vinyl Junkies. I haven't even gotten to NAMM yet. Holy fuck. My wife was right. I'm fired out of a cannon. 3 hours of sleep. Wake up, take a shower, do all this. The Stoughton business is already in the bag. It's done, you know. It was nice. Handshake deal on top of that. These are good people. Jack's an old man. 50 years. Talks about, you know, his fucking eyes, cataracts. He had to go get operations. He's showing me all his children. Me and Rob, kindred spirits. He's got a nice, this dude looks like Matt Hessler with that fucking long Simpsons old man beard. It is unbelievable. He is the mighty Thor, but like an older, semi-retired version with a shock of hair. But me and him, you know, what kind of music did you listen to is a conversation he asked right away. And it's like, dude, we're going to spend a couple of hours together where you believe me, you're going to find out. And that's the way it turned out. That's the beauty of it, you know, because we wound up talking about the fucking Cramps, and we talked about horror movie soundtracks from Waxworks, and we talked about our love for Ministry and all of the shows that he saw. And this bond for music all of a sudden just made us understand no matter what it is that we do, man, we are the luckiest people in the world because we get to talk about music 24/7 and we get to be in on something that matters so much to people. And you'll see as I talk about Diamanda Galas, I'll get into that. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to go there, but I love this woman. I've gotten to know her a little bit, like I said, through email. Look, let me just go from here and there, okay? The conversation will go, but I've got stories. I haven't even gotten to NAMM yet. Think about it. Think on that a little second, motherfucker. So, 3 hours of sleep. Me and Evan, a good bro night, even though it was short because I got in late. He's going to NAMM, but he's got a bunch of meetings because, I mean, that's why he's going there, right? You go there, you do your business. So he represents a bunch of stuff that we're going to be working on. And he had meetings. All right, go. Now, look, I've been pretty clear on the fact that human beings and me, humanity and me, I don't like humanity. I don't like being around people. It's actually a lifestyle choice because the people out there, I don't like because I don't know what's out there. You understand? Social anxiety is an awful thing. So, there I am. I'm unleashed. I go in. They check your bags, make sure you don't got guns, all this. And I am unleashed into the biggest fucking crush of human beings, of humanity that I've ever seen in my life. When I tell you that NAMM is enormous, I'm not using the word properly. I'm trying to compare it in terms of, it's about the size, it's got to be at least the size of 15 to 20 football fields or pitches, you know, like football stadiums and pitch. It's enormous on multiple floors. And there are people everywhere. Now, again, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so I go to these fucking things and I just throw myself in. But now what I'm throwing myself in is making me miserable as fuck because there's all this humanity in front of me. Overload. I got no one. I'm a stranger in a strange land. Iron Maiden songs are going off in my head. And I'm tired. And my legs hurt because you got to walk everywhere. And I'm a fat guy. I don't mind walking, but it's a lot of walking and there's no seats. You know why? Because these are things I didn't know before. But the first days of NAMM are really the craziest ones. And they see 100,000 plus people visit that fucking thing every day during that whole thing. So what I'm saying is that I spent the day completely alone on no sleep after I got off a fucking plane. 14 hours of hell in that fucking thing. Everybody smelled feces all over. Get in a truck. Go down there. And now I'm in a fucking room crammed with 100,000 more strangers. Get me the fuck out of here. I need a nap. So I start thinking to myself, is there any way that I can find a hotel, you know, that'll just, I don't want to pay for the night, but I don't mind paying for 4 hours. I just want to take a nap because I can't function anymore. This is fucking too much happening. I'm bipolar, don't forget, right? And then I thought, you don't want that because any hotel that'll rent you the room for 3 or 4 hours, that room is probably a don't shine like infrared lights because it's just fucking Come Fiesta 101 everywhere. The idea is very, very disgusting. So that's not where I want to sleep. So I'm wondering, okay, I gotta get out of this humanity. Oh, another thing, I hadn't eaten anything. You know why? Because I'm one of those guys that forgets to eat. Are you like that too? You just go on, you do this, you have this thing, you're so focused on what you got to get done, you go, I get it done. I don't eat anything. Why? Because I don't have my own car. I don't know where I am. I didn't eat. Since fucking lunch before, I was starving. I'm a fat man. I need nutrition. I need nourishment. Don't judge. So now I got to get out of this NAMM. Because with this 100,000 people, of course, you know what? One of my checks, I'm a simple man. One of my checks, I said that when I would go visit California for the first time, I just wanted to eat fish tacos out of a taco truck. Real fish tacos, the real shit. I'm from Montreal. I don't know that shit. So I wanted real fish tacos. Now at NAMM, the tacos are there. But 100,000 people is what they're feeding. So the lines are about 1,000,000 miles long. I'm not waiting in that line to eat a fish taco. No. So now I'm miserable. I'm thinking, okay, let me get the fuck off this premises. I gotta find food. So I'm walking around. Already it's 3 hours I'm there. No sleep. Fucking grumpy as fuck. All these people. Walking out of NAMM because I want nothing to do with anybody anymore. I just want to take a nap in a clean bed. The further out I walk from NAMM, you know what I walk into? You figure that the crowds would dissipate. The crowds don't dissipate. You know why? Because the further away that I'm walking from that fucking convention center, I'm walking straight into Disney World. So all of a sudden the fucking little ears start popping out, and you see the Oriental tourists, and you see the roller coaster, and another crush of humanity. And I am miserable because I can't get out. I am in my personal fucking hell. Like Dante, you understand? I hate this. So I start thinking to myself, dude, I'm glad I bought the insurance on that plane ticket, because I'm going to cancel this fucking thing and I'm just going to go home. I miss my family. That's where I want. I don't want to sleep. I want a nap. This is where I was supposed to have fun, right? So I walk out of NAMM into Disney World, and there's no food anywhere. And I'm looking for something decent to eat, and there's nothing. But I'm tired at this point. I'm fat. I get tired. I just want something. And it's like the only thing around is International House of Pancakes. I don't want to eat pancakes. I want a fucking, I don't know, a burger. I want a burrito. I want something. But not pancakes. And I didn't feel like eating breakfast, but it's the only thing. So at that point, it's like, fuck this. I walked into a couple of those stores. Maybe I figured, you know, get one of those microwave burritos. I gave up. It's like, all right, I go to IHOP. Shit. Shit food. Shit. Never going to IHOP again. So I didn't eat properly. That only makes me more miserable. At this point, you know what? I had the address on there. Fuck this. You know what it is that I'm doing? I'm taking a nap. And I go and I take a nap. As I go there, I try to open the door. The door's locked. I'm there. Okay. I guess I got to hang out in this truck. Anyway, eventually get in. That's the way the first day went. Now, I couldn't cancel the trip because I didn't want to go through the trouble. And my phone's all fucked up, and it was just too many hoops. So I'm there. I'm just going to be miserable for 3 days and just go home, and that's it, right? No, because I woke up from a very refreshing nap. And as I opened the door to the Tiny Tim suite, there's my little pixie, Sunshine. Hi. I'm really sorry I snore. It's okay. It's no problem. Really pleasant. So, you know, Evan comes home. And it's like, all right, you ready? We're ready? What? Sir, well, you said you wanted to go to Amoeba, right? Told you I'd get there. I'm there, yeah. You know, it's like, I'd also like to smoke some weed while I'm here, so... California just legalized, decriminalized weed there, so you can smoke socially. So there's dispensaries that have been opening up. It's only opened since January that way. So we went and visit one of those things, and one of the pictures that you see in the carousel is actually that. It's called MedMen, and there's this lineup. So, you know, I like saying these things, but I don't like forcing anybody into doing anything for me. So I kind of like put it out there, but I didn't want to impose. But Evan at Vinyl Styles, a really, really nice guy. He said, are you ready? Oh, yeah. What? So yeah, we're going to go to Amoeba. We're going to go get some weed. We're going to go to Amoeba. So we go visit this MedMen. There, you see the picture right there. And there's a lineup to get in, which is a pain in the ass. And there's guards, and it looks like the Apple store inside, and the place is packed. That's why there's a line, because it's packed. And it looks like the Apple store. I gotta go into that again. All right. But then we got in, and they check your IDs, they do all of this stuff, you know, so very organized. And as you're in there, you realize that every single one of those human beings around you has a big old smile on his face, or her face. Everyone's smiling. There's fucking pot for dogs. There's pot shampoo. There's everything. Everything. Everyone's happy. So I get what I gotta get. And they have this, like, display. You see it right there, right? Where you're able to, like, they have the bud there, and you're able to look through kind of like this magnifying glass to really look at what you have. And you pull back this thing which allows you to kind of like smell it. So the whole experience was pretty surreal. It was pretty clinical in a lot of ways, with that lineup, with this pretty tight security at the door, but with the aesthetic of the Apple Store. So it was interesting, but everybody had a smile and everyone was pleasant because I'm pretty sure that the last place that a fight will ever break out is at a marijuana dispensary. Nevertheless, as far as I know, despite these changes and all, they're still going after these, they still get busted and stuff. So that's my story, right? So now we're going to go to Amoeba. Sit outside and see the sign. Gorgeous, and I realize, in terms of importance, this is one of the holy grails of record stores. So here I am, Amoeba, and in Hollywood. The Hollywood hadn't occurred to me. But so we sit outside, we smoke a joint, and go in, and you just see all the records. And you see CDs everywhere. There are lots of CDs, but records everywhere. And the only reaction you have is... you just start, I just started laughing because we spent hours in there because I had to dig through all of it. Now, you don't go upstairs because the movies, as far as I know, are upstairs, but the jazz section was redonkulous. Redonkulous. I pulled out 4 Impulse black and orange spines to add to the collection. So I made out like a bandit, and there was a lot of new stuff. Actually, one thing that I would say kind of disappointed me, but might just be a sign of the times, is there wasn't as much used stuff as I wanted. A lot of their stock, a lot of Amoeba stock, I guess it's everybody's stock, but is made up of new records. Very, very well priced, but they had everything. So I go there, and the first section I visited was kind of like the weirdo avant-garde section. Boom, right in front of me. I was looking for stuff like Zorn and Diamant de Galas. Boom, Diamant de Galas there. Pull that shit out right away. There were 2 of them. I wound up spending, $200 in there, so I had to stop at some point. I wanted both of them, but I knew it couldn't happen. Boom, I pull out the one. The other one, didn't get it. Looking for John Zorn, couldn't find him, that kind of thing. It's kind of like I thought I'd maybe be able to go deep into that. I found a lot of Impulse, though. So there was a lot of Impulse. There were 5 records. I took 4 of them. And anytime you go to a record store and you're able to pull out 4 black and orange, it's a very cool thing. And I will have them all. And 2 of those were Gabor Szabo, who's just this amazing Hungarian gypsy kind of guitarist who has a very, very unique style of jazz guitar. So there were 2 live appearances called Sorcery and More Sorcery. Got those 2, and they just happens to be 2 records that I didn't have, because when it comes to certain artists, I really like to have it all. And if it's on Impulse, I buy it all. If it's on CTI, he also recorded, Gabor Szabo also recorded on CTI, and a number of other labels. I'll pick up that stuff immediately as well. So very, very happy. And I had this kind of like fantasy where we would kind of all go there, and Sunshine bought records, and we'd all go there and go to the house and drink some beer and gather around the record player and play our records. And that didn't wind up happening. So I was a little sad, because it's kind of like you don't want to force things. It kind of has to feel all natural. It doesn't wind up happening. But while we're there, I realize, I take a look up and I'm there, wait a second, Sunset. Doesn't Motley Crue sing about sunset? Yes. Oh, I found a Melvins record. I found a Melvin's record, the box set. I was so happy to find that. So picked that up right away. The first Run the Jewels record, which was the only one I'm missing. Well, actually, I'm missing Meow the Jewels also. Meow the Jewels I got, but Run the Jewels, the first one. So that collection just became full. And I realized that I bought nearly all the Run the Jewels records within a span of 5 or 6 months. I bought number 3, loved it immediately, and just kept on going. So, yeah, amazing band. Found that right away. I know I bought other stuff. I bought a lot of records, including stickers. Look, look, look. Stickers. I was there. It's embarrassing, isn't it? This is like a bad episode of, you know, when like your friends come back from fucking Florida or something, or they come back from some vacation, and they come back with all the photos, and they're showing you the photo. Oh, yes, this is when we went to this seafood restaurant. Oh, the fish was so fresh, and you have to see the beaches. The water, it had to be some of the clearest water I've ever seen. Meanwhile, I haven't gone on vacation with my family in forever. I don't give a fuck. I don't. None of us do. I don't blame you if you don't give a fuck about what I'm saying over here, but it's music related. And I'm a weird guy, so I tell stories. So you pay attention. Welcome to Vinyl Junkies. Gonzo Radio. You ain't getting this shit anywhere else. So, I look up and I see Sunset. I'm there, holy fuck. Yeah, Motley Crue, right? They sing about this in Girls, Girls, Girls. Now, I love Motley Crue and have been a fan since the very first album because they came up during that age. I can't claim that I ever had the Too Fast for Love thing, leather records. I wish I did. I don't even have a copy of Too Fast for Love at all. I'm still looking for it, but I have Shout at the Devil. And I used to have all the rest, and I followed them through their career because I love that band. So, Girls, Girls, Girls is the second time I saw Motley Crue, but it's the first time that I saw them from the very front row. As a matter of fact, if I'm not wrong, I think Whitesnake opened up during the, actually, the dates are about right, 1986, right? So Whitesnake opened up maybe for the Slip of the Tongue tour or the one before there, Still of the Night. So, I start telling Evan and Sunshine about Girls, 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 and how it's the fucking coolest thing in the world, and it's like, oh, wait a second. The Rainbow Bar and Grill's real close, too. And they're, yeah, not really. I'm their dude. I really don't want to be an ass. I don't want to take you guys out of your way or anything like that, but, and I got earnest, because it actually did mean something to me, and it would mean a whole lot to me if you can take me to the Rainbow Bar and Grill, because I'd like to visit the Lemmy statue, and you know, he's one of my lifetime heroes, and I'd like to pay my respects. So as we're doing all of that, we start kind of like playing out this fantasy, and I start playing out this fantasy, or am I kidding? These guys just think this guy's probably completely unchained. You know, but we're high, we just bought records, everybody's happy. The perfect thing to do right now, you know what it is in this fucking car? You know what it is, can I tell you? The perfect thing to do is to cruise down Sunset Boulevard with the windows down, listening to Girls, 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 and screaming that shit out at the top of your lungs. Very tourist moment. But it had to be done. Because I'm like Forrest Gump. Shit happens. I wind up places. Where's Waldo? Where's Waldo? So as this happens, Evan's a smart guy. A smart guy. He puts on his phone. He's got Spotify accounts. Of course he does. I don't have no Spotify. Spotify accounts. Boom. Puts it on. He finds Girls, Girls, Girls. He finds a Best of Motley Crue compilation that he already had on his phone, actually. So he puts on Girls, Girls, Girls. Now, as I'm going down the street, I can imagine the motorcycles, and I can imagine, you know, I'm not telling him, it's like all we're missing now is just a big white limo with a fucking hot tub, you know, because have you ever seen the movie The Decline of the Western Civilization Part 2? I think there's one scene, anyway, there's one scene where, maybe on a Motley Crue video, where you see Vince Neil in a hot tub limousine with a bunch of bikini girls around him, because it was just the age of excess. And I grew up during that entire age of excess and thought about all that. But we put on the music, and as we're going by, don't you know it, one of the pictures that you're going to see up there is the Seventh Veil, which is one of the strip joints that Motley Crue, that Vince Neil sings about on Girls, Girls, Girls. Because Girls, Girls, Girls is an ode to strip joints. And that sign, Girls, 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 comes from the Seventh Veil. So as we're doing all this, the songs are blasting out of the fucking radio. Girls, Girls, Girls! And you would think that people would, you know, flinch, but I figure, you know, it's Hollywood. No one really flinched. They figure another idiot in a car, he must be a tourist. They would have been right. But I had to do it. I had to fulfill my fantasies. So I went along Sunset Strip, just like Motley Crue did on their choppers. And I passed the Seventh Veil. The Seventh Veil. Girls, girls, girls. Red lips, fingertips. And that shit happened. So, boom. That was awesome because I didn't expect it. Now, all of a sudden, I didn't want to go home anymore. Because I visited Amoeba. And I'm high. And I'm on the Sunset Strip, listening to Motley Crue, singing at the top of my motherfucking lungs. This is fun. And you know what's ahead? Lemmy. And we're cruising down the street, you know, and we passed, what was it, Chateau Marmont. So I know a lot about that whole area, despite never having visited it, because I listen to a lot of music. So a lot of the Wrecking Crew come from that area, and a lot of stars stayed at Chateau Marmont. So and I've read a lot of books, both fiction and nonfiction. So anytime things happened in LA, the same streets kept coming up, La Cienega, and I started recognizing these streets from these books that I read, which was really cool because it felt like this world that began for me and existed for me through music and books and art started kind of like filling itself out, and I started seeing what it was. So that was quite an amazing moment for me. I gotta say, I enjoyed it, and Vinyl Junkies took me there. And I can say that for the rest of my life. I'm proud of that, and the story gets better. So we get to Rainbow Bar and Grill, and it's not like I want to stay long or nothing, you know. I want to visit the Lemmy statue. I want to pay tribute. You know, the way you go to the way you go to Père Lachaise cemetery out in Paris to visit Jim Morrison and Rossini, and I don't remember the names anymore, but, you know, you do all that. Or you go visit James Marshall Hendrix's grave. For me, the statue of Lemmy is something I wanted, and I knew that it was his place of happiness. So it meant something to me because he's one of my greatest heroes. Why? Because he did exactly what it is that he wanted to do throughout his entire life, no matter how popular or unpopular, or no matter what public opinion was. He did exactly what he wanted to do, didn't change his game, and he died happy. And at the end of the whole thing, even before he died, he said, hey, you know what? It's been a good run, man. Whatever happens, happens. I'm happy. I've done what I've wanted to do, you know. And no regrets. You know, one of the famous Lemmy quotes is, you know, anybody tells you I did something, you know, let's just get out of the way. I did it. No time to say we didn't do it. If they said I did it, yeah, I did it. Just assume I did it. So for me, I think that type of an attitude won over a legend his fucking legions, not just the music, but just sticking to exactly what he wanted to do, rock and roll till he dies. So that's powerful to me. And, I've been listening to his music since 82, so it's not like me and Lemmy and Motorhead, man, we grew up together. And his music has pulled me out of those times, just like it's pulled you out of times. Music just does that, right? We have that intimate connection with it. And, to date, Motorhead is still the band I've seen most live. I've seen them like a dozen times. So, all this culminates into, we get off right in front of the Rainbow Bar and Grill and go in and, of course, the best thing ever happens. Almost the second, you can't make this up. Almost the second that Evan and I walked through the doors of the Rainbow Bar and Grill, some cover band that was playing, the bar wasn't very full. It would normally be full, but all the action was happening at the hotels there in NAMM. Okay? So, the minute we walk into the fucking place, within the first minute for sure, this cover band starts ripping into a version of Welcome to the Jungle. And there's maybe 2 dozen fans fucking rocking out. And it's just these old guys, right? Just a bunch of fucking old guys wearing their shit and just rocking out. And it was just a perfectly hysterical moment on my California trip, because what better thing to do when you go visit the Rainbow Bar and Grill than have the doors open and within the first minute be greeted by a covers band playing Welcome to the Jungle. So we got to see the Vampire's Lair where he used to hang out, his corner where he used to play his machine. Couldn't see the thing anywhere. I went in my pajamas. I just woke up from a comfy nap. It's fabric. Now, I noticed California, a lot of weirdos. I figure I fit right in anyway, so it's like, why should I try putting on a pair of jeans, belt? Nah. So, ask Evan, all right, I went in my pajamas. So I walk in, and there was just this irony of these rockers there. There was tables of members of bands that I might know, but I don't I don't know if it's the same thing with you guys, but I don't really pay attention to the names of the musicians a lot or the way they look. There's so much music that a lot of the times you don't connect faces and names, right? So I'm pretty sure that there were a bunch of musicians because they seemed to have their entourage downstairs at the bar and everything. And all of these guys dressed hard, right? So they got the fucking tattoos and the piercings and the leather jackets. Everybody's like that, but they're looking at me because I'm the weirdo walking in the fucking pajamas. It was a little bit of sweet irony that I found very funny. I was the weirdo in the room, in a room full of weirdos. So we still can't find this statue. Where's this statue? So I go to the bartender. I'm embarrassed, look, I gotta look like a tourist. Hey, dude, can you please tell me where the Lemmy statue is? Doesn't flinch. I figure he's seen every tourist you can possibly. Doesn't flinch and speaks to me in a Mexican accent. Oh, yes, you just go around the corner. Patio. Tells me it's on the patio. I don't do a Mexican thing very well, but I just found it very funny that the bar was being served by my people. And this guy didn't look like a metalhead at all. This guy looked like he didn't look like a metalhead. He was just dressed like a bartender. So, a Mexican bartender, one of my own. There, I felt a little bit more of a touch of home. Because, you see, I am connecting with my Mexican brethren. So, he guides us and all lit up on the patio. And there's a marble background, and the pictures come up is the Lemmy statue. And it's real size. He wasn't a big guy. I met him a couple of years back, and It is probably the single most important fanboy and rock and roll moment of my life. And I don't know, man. I guess you get emotional because, you know, you pay your respects to a hero and you pay your respects to somebody whose lifestyle and music and art and way of thinking profoundly affected you and served you as kind of like a beacon of what it is that you should do. Go after what makes you happy. Don't let anything stop you. And if you don't know how to do it, make it up until you do know how to do it. Gonzo Radio. So, I shed a tear, I won't lie. I was very emotional. And this drunk guy's kind of fucking stumbles there and said that I was really cool or something like that. So he gave me his personal drunken thumbs up to say, hey, dude, you paid Lemmy respect properly. I was so elated to see that I met this drunk's expectations of what a Lemmy tribute should be. I know I did it right, so I felt a little bit better about myself. We go home, do a bunch of things. In-N-Out Burger. I like eating burgers. We got the munchies at this point. It's only normal. Fucking fistful of records. Munchies, right? We gotta go get this In-N-Out stuff because my friends here, I got some friends who go to NAMM all the time. And he eats everything too. So it's like, listen, if you gotta have any of the burgers, the NAMM In-N-Out burger. That's probably not NAMM, but the In-N-Out burger is the one that you want. It's the one that tastes most like meat. So I now had it in my head, in my tiny kind of like bucket list. I had to have In-N-Out. Now, Sunshine and Evan are really nice. Sunshine's vegetarian. Evan's vegan. And I'm starting to feel all sorts of bad, because I don't like sticking it in their face, but I mean, the minute you put those burgers in the car, the entire car is going to stink like animals. They seemed okay with it. So, God bless them. And Miss Sunshine tells me, what you do is you go for the secret menu. You ask for it animal style. So when you go anywhere, In-N-Out Burger, animal style. Because they put sauteed onions and pickles in it as well. And maybe some other slop. But it was a very sloppy thing. Delicious. Very delicious. The French fries were fucking cardboard. Don't ever eat that shit under any condition. That is not edible. It's disgusting. So that is my review of In-N-Out. Now, Evan is telling me, all right, well, look, we're going to go to sleep now. Like, we got in late, you know, did our thing, ate, and listened to music. And we were listening to music on iPod, or whatever we were listening. So some kind of streaming thing. And again, it kind of shattered my vision of us kind of like all prancing into this house of art and gathering around the turntable and playing our treasures for each other. But we were all tired. It was a long day, so no. Okay. Evan starts telling me, all right, now we got to prepare for NAMM Day 2. I'm feeling complete dread over this because I don't want to go to NAMM. That humanity, fuck that. I don't want to do this shit. So I'm feeling a bit more comfortable because I live in an art house in the Tiny Tim room. My guests are awesome. Turntable, it's all there, right? So, all right, are you ready? No, dude, you know what? If you don't mind, I'd rather just kind of like hang out and listen to music. And so there I am. I'm in California, Mr. fucking adventurous. I'd rather just sit there and listen to my records and do all of that than face this huge humanity of people, even if it is music related. Didn't like it. So he tries to kind of get me out there again. He's there, look, we're going to hang out a bit. I got a meeting for an hour, but other than that, you know, let's just go do this. He's trying to get me out. But what we wound up doing during that time, because I was convinced there's no way you're going to get me out. This guy, obviously, he's been around mental cases like me, where, because it's like, you know, social anxiety. And so what we wind up doing as we're talking about business and how to further this business and represent more stuff for you guys, like Vinyl Star, vinyl-related stuff so that you guys know what it is, we're just basically drinking coffee, smoking joints in his house, in his art house, with music blaring out of the speakers. And I played some Gabor Zabot for him, and he loved it. And we played some Melvins. And that's probably the absolutely best business meeting I have ever had in my life. We were just sitting out on a fucking porch, music blaring out of the speakers, and chilling out and talking about art. And I can tell you that that was awesome. And that's exactly why I embarked on this Vinyl Junkies thing. I got more to say. I can't fucking believe how long this story is, but you guys seem to be tuning in. All right. I still got more stories. We haven't even gotten to Bootsy Collins yet, the drum circle. So at this point, it's like, look, dude, I got a music book. He gave me a book on Moondog. I got a music book. I brought my Impulse book with me. I was good. I was going to have a good time. I was looking forward to it. Happier than a pig in shit, you understand? Solitude suits me. Somehow he coaxes me to go into that mess again. It became a little easier because I went into passenger mode. You guys ever do this thing where you just kind of like, it's like, you know, when you see kindergarten lines and they're crossing the street and they're all hanging onto the rope? Like, I was basically hanging on to Evan and I would follow him so that there was this imaginary rope with loops around that we would walk around. And I was terrified of fucking, you know, losing him, because if I lost him, you're not going to find each other again. You're just not. And then all of a sudden I'm rushed headlong into misery again. That didn't wind up happening. So we went here, we went there, we had a good time. We go to the hotel. What was it? The Hilton? That's the big one. Fish tacos on the menu. Have the fish tacos. This day is going well. The evening went well. The day is going pretty well, too. Wouldn't you know it? The fish tacos were delicious at the Hilton. The fish tacos were delicious. Very fresh. I still haven't had them from a taco truck, though. And I will eat Mexican food from a taco truck. Believe you me, Vinyl Junkies will take me there. But the tacos, the fish tacos at the Hilton were delicious. So now what are we going to do? His meeting's approaching, so where do we go? I'm not sitting in front of any food trucks because the food trucks are crazy. No way, I'm not doing this. There's this big circle, and we see like that there's this guy handing out a bunch of drums everywhere, right? Oh, before we go there, we're trying to get the food. How can I forget this? As we're walking around, I look at this weird-looking guy. You know, this weird-looking black guy. Okay, right size, right face, right... Is that Thundercat? Now, I couldn't be certain because everybody looked weird there. So maybe there was a Thundercat look-alike. I didn't want to make a fool of myself. I didn't say anything, but I was pretty certain. Is Thundercat even here? But it's like, did I just run into Thundercat? Turns out, I checked it out. Thundercat was there, and that's what he was wearing. I ran into Thundercat. I played it cool. I played it very cool. I ran into Thundercat. Vinyl Junkies made me meet Thundercat. That's the way I tell the story. It's important to magnify the important parts of a story. Me and Thundercat, we had drinks. So now, we're walking along. We're looking for food. Everyone's hungry. We hadn't had the fish tacos yet. The biggest... What? Is that Bootsy Collins? Motherfucker, that's Bootsy Collins! Woo! And I start acting like a madman. You fucking rule. He's heard it before. I sound like a stupid fanboy. It doesn't matter. I'm a stupid fanboy. It's true. That's what I am. Dude's walking. He's got an entourage. Just a lineup of people around him. And he's wearing these studs, and he's wearing his fucking, you know, star glasses. And as I'm saying all of this, nothing affects him. It's like, yeah, baby. He's being bootsy. And that's what you want. So he acted like he's heard it all before, because he has. I'm just another one of his fucking funk peons who worship at the fucking altar of his base. You understand? So he's there all decked out. He's got fucking... And all his gang are all decked out in the same type of leather with fucking studs and shit. Look at all fly. All of a sudden, I forget about my food altogether, and it's just I start following Bootsy Collins. And other people start following Bootsy Collins. I want to see where this train is. So now, there's this long train at NAMM going through, and everyone's following Bootsy Collins. I'm starving, but it's Bootsy Collins. When am I going to see Bootsy Collins again? After following for 5 minutes, it's like, where the fuck am I going to do? Even if this train, whenever this stop and where it stops, what am I going to do? Now I'm going to wait in line. I'm not going to wait in line to meet Bootsy Collins. I like Bootsy Collins, but I'm not waiting in line to meet him. I saw him. It's good enough, right? It gave you a story, right? Right? So what I'm telling you is that me and Bootsy Collins, we talked. We had a conversation, a brief but deep conversation. That's Vinyl Junkies. The power of Vinyl Junkies. We need to develop this into a show, you know, like CNN and Anthony Bourdain, how he goes to every city and he eats stuff and stuff happens. I need to go visit record stores everywhere and have weird shit happen to me and tell you stories about it. So that was number 2. Then I'm starting to dread the end because he's got to go to his meeting. It's like, what the fuck am I going to do for an hour? And it's like, no, I'm just going to stay here. Lo and behold, there's this big circle that happens, and the sun's starting to come down. Okay, lo and behold, there's this big circle. Now, I've never been here before. I don't know what this is, but drums are being handed out everywhere. And Evan tells me, yeah, man, this is the drum circle. They do this every year. Dude, I'm not I'm not a granola kid. You know, we have what they call the tam-tams here around the mountains. I don't go to that shit. I don't do it. It's not me. Very self-conscious because I don't want to be doing this. Come on, grab a drum. No, it's okay, dude. I'd rather just watch. Oh, you got the little shakers? All right, you know what? At least I can hold the shakers just to say that I'm doing something. So this crush of people starts coming as they start preparing for this drum circle. I'm being surrounded by people and getting more and more miserable. But at least I got weed with me, so I figure, you know, it's a pretty safe place to just get high. And I had this little shaker while fucking Evan, doing the fucking white granola boy thing with the fucking, and doing, I don't want to be white granola boy, fucking play hacky sack. It's not me. It's not me. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it's not me. Red Hot Chili Peppers playing, give it away, give it away, give it a hacky sack. One of those Bob Marley hats. No. I didn't want to be that guy. But start playing. It's like, okay, just grab it, and if you feel okay. Now, I wasn't really into it because I figured I'd just play around with my phone. I don't know what I was gonna do, right? Just sit around. I figure it's just an hour to kill. Now, when he left, that changed completely. The dynamic changed. You know why? Because now I got no one to talk to anymore. And I got a bunch of people getting into this fucking granola stuff. A bunch of people just getting around me, and a bunch of kumbaya people just playing the drums. And I mean, it felt good. It was a really good thing. So I'm not going to be completely down on it at all. But it felt very white, and it was mostly very white. And it was Hollywood. But the drum circle happened amongst palm trees while the sun was coming down. And NAMM was across the street. And now, Evan, my fucking social buffer, was gone. Now, what happens when all these drums start happening? What happens when any event happens? People start pulling out their phones. Anxiety level through the roof. It's like, I can't fucking deal with this. So what I'm going to do now is, and I'm going to find a distraction. I'm going to smoke as much pot as I possibly can. I'm going to put my head down, and I'm going to just fucking hammer on these drums and not look at anyone. And that's exactly what I did. I created this bubble around me because I don't want to be around people. So I created this bubble. I created a drum bubble. A marijuana drum bubble I created at NAMM. And this thing was so cool because everyone's and everyone's shaking stuff. But there's a real beat, there's a real vibe going on. And even though we're not playing very well, it was still pretty powerful. And there were people up on the balcony on NAMM, and a bunch of them are watching. So, you know, it still felt like on a communal level, it felt like a lot of fun. Remo Drums is the one who sponsored this, and I thought that that was the most amazing drum sponsorship that I ever saw. So many phones. So many fucking phones. So I go into my thing, and it's just, as when my friend Evan comes back, I put it up, and it's like I got a bunch of people giving me a thumbs up and high five. What? What happened? It seems I look like a real fucking weirdo with a joint popped out of my mouth and hitting a drum like there's no tomorrow. I got no rhythm whatsoever, but it seemed to look good. So what I did was, I knew there were, like, I can't tell you how many phones and everywhere. And I had to see, just for myself, where's Waldo? Where's Waldo? And I had to see if I could find this. So it's kind of like trying to find Sasquatch in the wild. I know there's a lot of people. It might be difficult to spot me, but I am in that crowd. I assure you. Can you spot it? Yes. International superstardom. International superstardom. YouTube bald celebrity. Final Junkies Products. Then the story ended. My friend here, Renee, is a veteran of mine. He's been there 50 times. And he's the one who told me I don't watch hockey at this place. We have this thing. Bullshit and just kind of, it's a bro thing. He's an Italian bro. So he knew I was going. I'm not good with anything, but I kind of get it's near NAMM, it's this, that. It turns out that my guests are vegetarian, right? So, I tell them, yeah, there's this Indian restaurant, I don't know anything about it. It's supposed to be near NAMM, it's supposed to be good. Now, my experience of the food, the fish tacos were good. I hadn't really gone to a real restaurant, you know? So, I happen to know exactly what the restaurant is. Hey, Bradley. My friend Bradley. He's Sunshine's friend from forever. He's gonna come along. Okay. He came along and we went to this Indian restaurant, which was another really fun thing. And we sat around and took all these artists. I felt it myself. We got fantastic, and it took a really long time for me to say it all. So I don't have time for the interview, not the interview, but for the review of Ian Mesfield, Vinyl Junkies' next record. But it's amazing. You still might be able to do some content with it. Look for it in your mailbox if you want top level Ethiopian funk. I reckon you see in the background Ian Mesfield. That's the real stuff. I was going to go into this whole kind of history of African funk. It didn't wind up happening. Sorry, man. The story went on. I get long-winded. So, folks, that's VJ visiting Hollywood. Who knows where I'm going to turn up next. Now, the show's over. With Jeffrey, Vinyl Junkies versus Discogs. Round 1 next Friday. Vinyl Junkies versus Run Out Crew. Round 2 happened yesterday.